Hi there, this is Pamela Aaralyn. I am in the school drop-off and pickup lane, waiting to pick up my son from school, and something crossed my mind that I would share with you really briefly. Let's talk about food. I had a question, from a fan the other day, and she wanted to know how food actually affects us spiritually and how it affects us energetically and all the above. And I would like to begin by talking about the different vibrations of food. You know the expression garbage in, garbage out. Food can be one of those situations where it can really boost you spiritually and energetically. It can be a boost mentally. It can provide focus, clarity. It can really be something that nurtures you, or it can really be something that brings you down. So let's start from the physical standpoint. GMOs, steer clear. Pay attention to the labels. Pay attention to the organics. Organics are truly, in my opinion and from my perspective, 150% better. I get a lot of questions about the ins and outs and the whys of that, but essentially speaking, if it's not loaded with crap, chemically speaking, if it's not processed, you're okay. Here's the other thing. Food dyes, chemicals, processed foods, all of that. I make it a rule when I shop, stay away from the inner aisles of the grocery store. Raw food is excellent. I cook a lot. I'm about 50% raw, 50% cooked. Don't be so hard on yourself that food becomes a punishment, however. That is an emotional thing where you're using food to punish yourself. Emotionally speaking, from the emotional components and the energy components of what food does, if you're eating these things that are allegedly healthy, but you don't like the taste of it, and it doesn't feel emotionally nourishing, it doesn't really feel like you are doing that to nourish yourself, you're just saying, well, I have to eat this raw food because if I don't, then I'm going to be overweight, or if I don't, then I'm going to shame myself. Or if I don't do these things and eat vegan, then I'm a horrible person and I'm an animal murderer. That too has an extremely dampened psychological effect, which causes the aura to begin to collapse inward on itself. Okay? So that's not good either. If you are beginning your journey with food, energetically speaking, yes, it's true that the energy of meat and animal products will cause an extreme effect on the aura. And yes, it's true that it does dampen your energy because, and here's why, the energy of meat, because there's so much industrialized components in the way that the animal industry is handled, especially with cattle and pigs, is extremely cruel. And you can imagine that when people or animals, because we're all on the same wavelength here, the universe doesn't differentiate, we're all souls, okay? It doesn't matter. There's no lesser than or greater than. If they feel emotional pain, if they're terrified and being killed, then the energy of that terror actually is a feeling signature that causes, emotionally speaking, that goes into your food. Energetically speaking, what happens is when you have those emotions, the brain of the animal, when they have those emotions, the brains in the animals react, and that causes extreme hormones and chemicals to flood the bloodstream because of the fight or flight response that is interacting in the limbic system of the brain. When that happens, that actually toughens their muscles. It stiffens up and it toughens them, so there is an actual physiological component to this as well. So when this is the case, the emotions and the energy of that go straight into you as well. So you may as well be eating the murder. That is why it is not so good for the emotional bodies. And that is why people claim that they will begin to have more anxiety. They will have more dark night of the soul, more depression, more symptoms of, what humans like to call mental illness. I just call it spiritual awakening, when you actually face negative emotions and understand that there's a gambit of all emotions that we're here to experience and not just differentiate as positive being the only way to go. So meat can really express you can really pull you into that places of the darker nights of your own soul, because you are eating that component and you are ingesting that component. So it would be the same if you were constantly ingesting negative emotions all the time from being in extremely negative and dire situations in your own life. It can be the same thing. It's very similar. So that is why. But I don't want you to shame yourself over me eating meat. Okay? I still have issues with it. You know, just a few months ago in Australia, someone accidentally sent me the wrong dish. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm eating chicken. You know, am I going to shame myself over it? Or am I going to pick the chicken out? Like, what I'm going to do? And initially, I had that extreme feeling of shame. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to test this because it's been a few months since I've been vegan. And I'm going to give this a shot and see how it made me feel. And of course, I felt horrible. But if you slip up, don't give yourself such a hard time. Then just start over. There's another day. There's always tomorrow. And if you're going to punish yourself with trying to be vegan and punish yourself with trying to be vegetarian, that too is causing these negative feeling signatures that can be just as bad. Okay? So the food that you're putting in is also important based upon your feeling signatures that you are experiencing during your eating. It's very important because when you do you rush to the couch and shove some food in your face while you're watching your favorite sitcom and you're completely unaware, then you're just eating because you have to. You're not eating because of any particular nourishment. You're just eating because you have to. And then you're just open to all sorts of subconscious emotions. You subconscious eaters out there where you're just like, 5 minutes here. You have a really busy job. 5 minutes of shoving some food in my face because I absolutely have to or I'll faint. Those of you who are doing that are likely doing that because you have subconscious emotions that you are repressing and you are in a state of resistance to actually feeling something. And when you do that, you can become a subconscious eater. I really suggest being very, very conscious of what you eat and drink. For example, this bottle of water, okay? I'm going to notice every single aspect of this water when I drink it. I'm going to notice how my lips are when they touch the cup. I'm going to notice every single particle. I'm going to swish it around in my mouth. I'm going to notice how it feels on the back of my teeth. Is it lukewarm? Is it cold? Is it warm? Is it hot tea? And I'm going to taste the water. And this could take a very long time. I am the slowest eater in the face of the sun. People notice that when they go out to eat with me. They're like, you have a moderate amount of food on your plate, and I've been here an hour, and you haven't eaten all that food. And I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm going to. I'm enjoying it. I'm watching every single feeling that happens. I'm thinking about, and I'm observing what thoughts come to my mind, what emotions come to my mind, how I feel about this food. Do I feel nourished? If I don't, I'm going to stop. Do I feel full? If I'm full, I'm going to stop. Am I truly still hungry? Am I chewing my food? Am I tasting my food? Am I consciously swallowing my food and noticing how I feel as it reaches my stomach and goes down my esophagus and then hits my stomach? This is conscious eating, and it's very slow. Look. And that was me doing it quickly. Normally I'll wait and put the water in my mouth for a minute and I'll feel the difference in the temperature of the water. You notice how my energy just completely shifted? My voice was higher and now it's lower. Now I'm calmer. This water is actually cold because it's freezing here in Utah and there's snow everywhere. So it was in my car from this morning. No sun on it. Don't leave your water bottles in the car on a hot day. That's actually a bad idea. But here in Utah, it doesn't matter. This is this morning's water and it's still great. So I'm going to take a swallow. I'm going to notice the temperature of the water, and it's going to change my energy. Here, watch, I'll do it again. And then I'm going to breathe after I swallow my food. I'm going to think about how I wanted to feel. And you notice a change in my frequency and my energy and my auric field right then? You notice how calmer I sound in my vocal tone? It is because I was grateful for this water. The energy of gratitude was swishing around in my mouth. This is conscious eating and drinking. This is how you do it. This can be the belief system that actually helps you not gain weight. And some people will physiologically say that's quite silly. But it's quite possible that if you are conscious about your eating, you don't even need to eat large amounts of food. You don't need to worry about portion sizes because you will naturally stop exactly when you need to. And you will think about how you're feeling as the food is nourishing your mind and your body and your spirit. So this is the energy of what food does. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this as much as I did. And feel free to contact me, ask me questions in the comments section, subscribe. We have a bunch of videos here, at least a few a month. Subscribe to my newsletter if you want more, though, because a lot of these videos are unlisted. And because of the private nature of the topics, we keep them unlisted and just for your viewing. So subscribe. Send me an email at pamelaaralyn@gmail.com and subscribe. I love you all. Namaste.